James Hacker. I follow Stand on Twitter and Tarantouche just for shits and giggles. A lot of what I hear from the articles they share attempt to portray them as legitimate victims of religious persecution. My initial thought response as a DL Scientology critic is to say that we aren't criticizing your beliefs as much as the abuses that happen within the organization of Scientology. However, the more I think about it, I feel like I'm being naive in saying that. Do you think that the very policies about the fair game and financial practices of Scientology is a part of their religious beliefs? Is it silly to try to separate them? No, I don't think it's silly to try to separate them. In fact, for a very long time, I did. When I first started my YouTube channel, I expressly stated that I was not going to be going after the belief system of Scientology or, the Xenu narrative and deconstructing that and how ridiculous it is, or because, and by ridiculous, I don't mean outlandish and hard to believe. I mean ridiculous because actual science and evidence that we have accumulated easily and completely refutes any possibility that what Hubbard proposes is at all realistic or even possible. And the reason that's important is because L. Ron Hubbard didn't put the Xenu narrative out there as something to believe. He said this happened. This is a factual account of what occurred in history. But it can't be a factual account of what occurred in our history. So it's not a matter of taking it on faith, right? Or at least that's what you would think. And this is what I've come to learn over the years coming out of Scientology. Because I wanted to keep the abuses at first sort of like over here, and this is the bad part, and this is what we need to focus on. This is what they need to stop doing. But they have this dogma over here with this belief structure of thetans and immortal spiritual beings and the ARC triangle and the emotional tone scale and all of these bits and pieces that make up the fundamentals of Scientology's beliefs. Well, now I'm deconstructing those too, and it's a long and rocky and difficult process because it's easy for me to come on here and say it's all bullshit. And it's easy for you to go, yeah, it's all bullshit. And then we just both shrug and then we don't pay any more attention to it. I have a kind of a bigger idea. I thought I might try to break it down as to why it's bullshit, and very specifically why it's bullshit, because Hubbard's assertions are see, this is the crazy thing about Scientology. At once they are faith-based religious dogma, and at the same time, Hubbard's making claims that they're scientifically verified and provable claims. And you go, well, is it this or is it this, right? Well, if you start deconstructing it, then the Scientologists or people who want to believe in faith-based religion or the people who want to defend the right for people to believe whatever they want will defend this belief by then going into the faith side. So you break down the scientific nonsense and you show it's all hokum and nonsense, and Hubbard had no idea what he was talking about. And then they go, well, it's my beliefs. And what are you doing, attacking my religious beliefs? And you're just a bigot, right? That whole drill goes into play. So in a way, I think Scientology, and maybe other religions too, to one degree or another, depending on how scientific they try to make the claims of their faith-based dogma, suffers from this problem of having their cake and wanting to eat it too, right? They want to have both ends of this thing. And so I don't think that it's particularly ridiculous at this point to attack and take down and ridicule these beliefs because they are ridiculous, okay, as I've said. And that's been the effort that I'm now engaged on this channel. It's been a pretty long-term effort, actually. I've been working on it for the last year. I keep talking about all this research I'm doing. Well, that's why I'm doing it. I mean, is breaking this stuff down too. That's what got me onto all this stuff in the first place. But then after I started learning about it, I started going, oh my God, this has so much more application than just taking apart Scientology's bullshit, right? So that's kind of how I see it now. It is definitely different than a couple of years ago when I first started my channel. And so I think in terms of engaging with Scientologists on social media or engaging with the Scientology beliefs or ideas, that, yeah, I think they're all up for grabs. I think all the beliefs, the dogma, the abuses, all of it. Take it all down, you know? Just do so. I mean, it obviously context matters and your goals matter. So what is it you're trying to do on social media? And if you're trying to change hearts and minds or convince people of things, then you're going to have to do it in a respectful way. So ridicule and that don't necessarily go hand in hand. So, you know, but it all depends on what path you're trying to take. So there you go.